Hello everyone, welcome to Chasing Adventures. And if you've been following my series, previously we installed Auxbeam 8-gang switch panel with Vice Design brackets and also installed Novesight ditch light with Vice Design hood brackets. So in today's video, we're going to be comparing these two Auxbeam 9-inch LED lights to decide which light I'm going to mount on the Rebel. Alright, so if you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know I had this exact same Auxbeam 360 Pro on my Subaru Outback Wilderness, but it was in 7-inch, and it worked phenomenally. I think it's the best bang for the buck, because the light output was insanely bright, but now with the bigger 9-inch lights, it's going to be even brighter. But since the introduction of 360 Pro, Auxbeam has launched a newer light that is also available in 7-inch and 9-inch, and that is this Ray L series lights, which has some functions that the older 360 Pro doesn't have. So, is the newer Ray L series better than the old 360 Pro? Well, the only way to find out is to put them head to head, so let's get to it. So first, the good old 360 Pro. Well, I have nothing bad to say about this light. It has very bright 26 P8 LED chips all around the pod, which are mostly spot beams, but the lower section has some flood beam pattern as well. And one insanely bright KW3 LED chip right in the center projector, which emits very bright light straight across the field, as its total lumen is 37,776 lumens. And yes, I read that correctly. And has maximum distance of 1 lux at 3,012 feet. That's almost 10 football fields in length. And its IP68 waterproof rating for maximum protection against rain and dust. And the time I had these lights on my Outback, I had zero issues and no condensation buildup either, even though I live in the wettest climate of the country, so the build quality is there. And it comes with the wiring harness with DT connectors and a basic toggle switch. And the whole light is already assembled, so all we need to do is bolt it down with the included hardware. And I also got these optional yellow light covers, which they slip right onto the lights like this, which is must have for me. Now for the Ray L series, it has 34 newer SST20F LED chips all around the pod, and they are spot beam pattern. And the total lumen is 34,180 lumens, slightly less than the 360 Pro, but that number is nothing to laugh about, and has maximum distance of 1 lux at 2,782 feet, which is still respectful. It's also IP68 waterproof rating and seems to be also well made, just like the 360 Pro. But the major difference is that the Ray L has these built-in bright 4,000 lumen daytime running lights in white or amber color. And the running lights can be turned on simultaneously with the main LED lights. So I'm really looking forward to testing these lights out. And it also comes with the wiring harness with the DT connectors and a basic toggle switch. But since these lights have running lights, you have to connect the DT connectors to here, and there's an adapter for this to go onto this light, which has the wiring for the running lights. And just like the 360 Pro, everything is already assembled, so all we have to do is mount it with the included hardware. But yeah, these are beautiful lights. And I also got the optional yellow covers for the Ray L lights. And not only this is very useful in rain or fog, but it'll also add some protection to the lights from the rock chips. Now, even before we test them out, just by looking at these lights, I could already tell that the Ray L is more spot focused light, as the housings for each LED is much narrower and closed off, compared to the 360 Pro where it's wider and open. Plus, the Ray Ls don't have the spread patterns like you find them on the 360 Pro. But the only way to find out which is better is to actually test them out. So first, let's look at the patterns of these lights in the garage, and after that, I'll take them out to test out on the field. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to light up the 360 Pro onto the wall. So here we go. Look at that. That's a nice spread, even beam that's lighting up the ceiling too, actually. And as you can see, there's a nice little hot spot, but there is that square looking light. And you know what? I could actually feel the heat from here. That's how bright they are. Wow. That is insane. But again, I'm going to bring it up to the ceiling so you guys can see and then here's the bottom that's lighting up and the side. Now I did have to dim the camera because otherwise then it'll be just blown out. I mean, it's much brighter in person, but this kind of gives you the idea of how bright they are and how much it'll cover. So next, let's move on to Ray Ls. So immediately you could tell this is much more spot beam than spread beam, because I could almost see that there's a ring around this and it's only capturing this much. And there's a bright hot spot down here. And I do feel the heat from this light too. So it is still bright, but it's not as diffused as 360 Pro. So if I move the camera, so it's not capturing all the way up there and to the side, but it's got a very nice center focused beam. So two very different lights, and we're looking at directly onto the light. And yeah, because of the shape of these housing, that's why it's throwing more of a spot beam than spread beam. And then here's the 360 Pro, and yeah, it's giving a lot more light even from where I'm standing. With the Ray L's, I wasn't able to see the reflection, but with this, you know, from where I'm standing, I can see all the reflection of the lights. And here's what the running light looks like on the Ray L series. So we have the white and then amber. The amber color is really nice actually. And again, here's the white and amber. And another cool feature is that instead of just running as a running lights, either white or amber, what you could do is you could use the white light as the running lights and connect one of the wires to the turn signals, and you could use it as a turn signal. That's kind of neat. And although you have the running lights, you can still turn on the main LEDs too. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me turn it down. There we go. Yeah, so I still have the main lights, but I also had the running lights as well, with them off and with them on. That was amber, and this is the white color. Pretty cool. And if we look at the side-by-side footage, you could clearly see that the 360 Pro has wider pattern with smaller hotspot in the middle, whereas the Ray L's has narrower pattern, but with the larger hotspot in the middle. And it's evenly bright all around. And here are the lights with the yellow covers on them. First, we have the 360 Pro and the Ray L series. And here it is during the night, and I have the camera set to manual settings, so no matter what I do to the lights, it won't affect the footage. So right now I have the headlights with fog lights on, and here are the high beams. And this is the 360 Pro. It has nice hotspot in the middle, and it's lighting up the whole surrounding actually. And here I'm flickering the high beams on and off to see if it makes any difference. And here it is from a different angle. And yeah, from this angle, I could already see that it's covering a lot of area. Just look at all the trees being lit up. Okay, and this is the Ray L's. Oh yeah, it's much more center focused, and the middle hotspot is larger and brighter. But it's not as wide as the 360 Pro. I'm definitely seeing less of the top of the trees. And from this angle, yeah, you can see that the tree lines are less visible compared to the 360 Pro. But again, it's very center focused, and it has a nice hot spot in the middle. Okay, and now I have one of each lit up, and I'm moving the Ray L's around, and as you can see, it's much more center focused, but it's much narrower. Yeah, and as you can see, the light is moving within the 360 Pro's light. And now I'm moving the 360 Pro, and yeah, it's much more wider light. But I think the center isn't as bright, and it's not as big as the Ray L's. And here you could clearly see the rectangle shape of the 360 Pro lights. And from this angle, take a look at the ground and the tree lines as I'm moving the Ray L lights. Again, you could clearly see the difference. Look at how the light pattern is much narrower compared to the 360 Pro. But when I overlay them together, it has brighter and larger hotspot in the middle. And it's round, unlike the 360 Pro where it's squared off. And now I'm moving the 360 Pro, and yeah, it's much wider, but the center hotspot is smaller and narrower, and it's, you know, it's rectangle shape. So there you have it, and what do you guys think? And of course, it's hard to show in video what these lights really looks like in person, but this was pretty close representation of these two lights. And I wouldn't say one is better than the other because while they're very similar in size and build quality, but yet has very different output. So if you're looking for a more center focused spot beam pattern because you have other lights like a light bar or ditch light already on your vehicle to light up your surrounding, I would say go with Ray L lights. And the running lights will be just icing on the cake. But if this is going to be your only light source and need a wider pattern to see all your surrounding, well then go with the 360 Pro. Because whichever you go with, they're both very well made and fantastic lights with great value that produces ton of light. So you really can't go wrong with either one of them. Now, as for me, this is going to be a tough one to pick because, like I said, they're both great lights, but yet has very different light output. So, I might have to sleep on it to decide which one I'm going to use. But you'll see which one I picked on my next video when I install one of these set on the Rebel with Vice Design mounting brackets. So make sure to turn on the bell notification. And if you're interested in these lights, I'll leave the links to these lights in the video description along with any available discount code for you guys. And if my video was helpful with making your decision on your next light, please like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And again, turn on the bell notification so you won't miss when my next video is uploaded. So thank you all for tuning in today. And until next time, keep chasing adventures and I'll see you all on my next video.